All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Haikyuu Season 4, Episode 15. All right,
They can
guys.
do the freak quick.
They can do it too.
Better even.
And they can do it better. Anything you can do, I
can do better.
I loved how they set up everything to be what I thought would be a setter v setter kind of match. And now it's more like dynamic duo versus dynamic duo.
Right.
In addition to the fact that Inarizaki also just has a really strong team like Karasuno. But Inarizaki hasn't even really shown off that much of their team yet.
Yeah, like that was just the thing of like, oh,
Yeah.
I guess we should score some points. Let's just do that thing that we can do, because why not? You know?
Yeah. It's insane.
Actually
And
ridiculous.
actually insane just how capable they were of that. And yet it looked so similar to theirs, even though it was actually just better.
Yeah, like all right, well, but here you go, Kageyama. This is a way that you can improve. Just, I guess, watch very closely.
Watch closely.
Because, oh boy.
Yeah, this first set might not be one you guys can come back on. I think it's
don't
11-7
think so.
at this moment.
I think you're right.
Which is not an unwinnable
It's not unwinnable,
difference.
but that's basically a 50% lead, and like...
Yeah.
I don't see
exactly.
much reason of why Karasuno would be able to make that up, given how things are going.
Yeah, at the very least, I feel like they are on their back foot right now, and there needs to be a couple things that come in clutch on the defense side of things,
Right.
in order to make that happen.
Yep.
Yeah, Daichi, Nishinoya,
We are counting on you.
We need y'all to fill up that back line there, and then some of the others as well who are going to be on the back line every once in a while.
Yeah.
Hinata, your foot is not going to save you every single time.
Hey.
But he was in the right spot.
He was in the right spot.
He knew
That
what
is
he
very
was
true.
supposed to do, and he did it.
Yep.
He just ended up being a little slow with regards to the uptake of where his hands
Right.
needed to be. So,
If anything, though, something that I could see happening that could be kind of cool is that if they're doing the freak quick, this could be Tsukishima's chance to be like, oh, let's actually see if I could shut down Hinata.
oh,
You know?
sure,
Like,
nice.
all right, let's get
That's
strategic.
cool.
Let's get strategic. I've seen them
Yeah.
do that kind of stuff all the time. Okay. Okay.
And then
give it a shot.
If they use Osamu as a little bit of a decoy, even then Tsukkishima could hold back the front line and be like, no, don't fall for it.
Yeah, this is our game. Like, we know how that works.
Yeah,
you know?
we're not,
It's not going to work with us.
we're not gonna bite on that. That's
Right.
bait, you know.
Yep.
But oh my god, I love the twins so much. I
they're
love
great.
Osamu so much with his smirks and his disgust and everything. So wonderful. Can't wait to meet more of Inarizaki's team, you know, in their full glory. Just see them
Exactly.
on full display. That would be wonderful.
And more Hoshiumi watching from the sidelines and
Yes.
being both very impressed and confused at the same time.
and Bokuto and Takashi.
Yep.
And there was another random guy that was watching on the sidelines too.
Yeah,
that
who's
kind
like
of,
in the top 3 of the spikers or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. That guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want more side commentary in general as well, especially since this could be a pretty long match. So,
Yes.
y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. All right, everyone, now be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, then come back here for the discussion. All right, guys, we're coming up on the end of set number 1.
Yep.
So this game is going about the speed I thought it was going to go. We're headed towards the end of this set here. We got to see a lot of stuff from the breadth of players on Karasuno's side of things.
Did indeed.
And we
It was
got
wonderful.
some interesting insight to the quick that Inarizaki copied
Yeah.
from
which,
Karasuno, which means that they just decided, you know what? That's really cool. Let's take that.
Yeah. Like,
Nice town. I'll take it.
Right.
You know?
And apparently, the way that they set up for it wasn't, hey, bro, let's copy them. Sure. It was, let's start
score some
scoring some
points.
points. That's so general
It is so
and
general.
ambiguous. Like,
Yep.
but okay.
Twin brothers, I guess.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right.
And in some level, what's great about this was they brought up the whole idea of how their relationship dynamic worked. And
Yes.
that actually,
Trust him. Oh.
Atsumu is not really the quintessential big brother. He's
Nope, definitely
kind
not
of,
trustworthy.
He's kind of neurotic and inconsistent, and he's got some serious, like, you know, integrity issues and stuff. Like,
all that whole familiarity stuff that happens, in a family.
We would know nothing about that.
Definitely not.
Nothing at all. No, our experience is entirely perfect. We are the quintessential, actual best brothers.
What are you talking about? That is the perfect.
Oh, right, exactly. I was leading up into that, but right, there you go.
Yeah.
Punchline delivered. We have, though, just it all on display, though, in this match.
Yeah.
And we got to see where it can also go wrong as Atsumu starts, like, being like glaring at Osamu, and he's like, I know.
Right. But it's cool because they are kind of covering for each other's, weak spots and things like that.
Yep.
And it's also bringing up some of the things that, hey, in case you forgot some of the benefits that our Karasuno players have, yes, Hinata is small. And while that makes it so it's... Right, exactly. And while that makes it so it's kind of a done deal whenever he tries to do a contested block with someone that has, 30 pounds on him or whatever it is,
30
right?
centimeters.
Yeah, 30 centimeters.
Yeah, approximately.
There's not much that he can do there, but it does mean that he can go with full energy all the time because he is a small boy, and, it's a lot easier to have boundless energy for those leaps and bounds when you're small, whereas for Osamu, he's like, hey, I gotta win the stamina battle too. There's no way I can be going absolutely 100% even when I'm decoying all the time.
Because I gotta be here for set 3.
Or 5, right? Like, aren't the national sets like 5 sets?
That's a good question, actually.
Because I think they established that with the previous one, but that was, we watched that previous match a while ago.
I'll go back and check. I'm pretty sure you're right, actually. No, then anything...
Like, stamina is a huge issue.
Yeah, this match actually might go for a lot longer this season than I thought it was going to if it is a 5-set game. Because you're right, I think it should be a 5-set game.
And it's also something that from a meta perspective I really appreciate because it makes the matches in my mind more interesting because if Karasuno isn't the favored one to win, but they win the first set and there's only 3 sets, then there's less tension throughout the rest of the game.
It's true.
But in a 5-set match, Karasuno could still win this first set
and lose the next 2.
Yeah. Right? Because it doesn't have as much impact on the match as a whole.
Right.
And the fact that they're actually getting a bit of an advantage here, it's like, I want to root for them that maybe they can get this, that Yamaguchi was able to get another service ace, but maybe they don't, and then they're back to tied again, and then Inarizaki, runs away with it.
Right.
Who knows?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. There were so many little moments that we'll get into in the discussion,
oh my God,
but I think the next big thing to get into the discussion in general with is how Karasuno is basically beginning to utilize the stuff that they brought in from the training over the course of the last, the first half of the fourth season.
Yeah.
And Tsukkishima, Kageyama, and Hinata are the main ones that have evolved in that regard. But we are also seeing a lot of little things from the other players as well who had their practice time while, our main boys, if you will, were off, going and having, a lot of training. So we saw, Tanaka starting to get a little bit of disrespect from the sidelines. And then we see Tanaka's energy coming in extra clutch when then he's all like, Matrix, miss me with that.
Yep.
Intentionally hitting the block so that it comes... Well, no, that wasn't intentional. I think he did that later in the match against
right, yes.
But that was awesome. We got to see... Asahi's dink, which was awesome.
Yep, that was excellent.
We got to see Kinoshita have a big moment where he was then given the opportunity to have a Yamaguchi kind of thing where he goes and serves.
And he
does pretty good.
Yeah, like even though the first one didn't get a point from the serve itself, it was still a good serve.
To a point.
Yeah, exactly. So he threw them off balance.
Counts for him because he gets to serve again.
Yep.
And then, the next one wasn't as good. It was more like an 80% on point kind of thing. But hey, dude, everyone's got to start somewhere. And then Yamaguchi had his moment as well, where he started to get, really nervous and like, I'm not sure if I can hone in and focus on something in this court because it's so big. This is a stadium, And then his buddy, whose senpai, has been training this whole time. He's there. He calls out his name, his first name, Tadashi.
Like,
that was so good. Oh, the emotion.
Yamaguchi is such a cinnamon roll.
Yeah.
I absolutely
underdog
love him
cinnamon
to
roll.
death, right?
Yeah.
And the fact that, like, and I even kind of commented on it, like, the whole nervousness and everything like that, and then, hey, now you're here. But then it's the, oh shit, now I'm here. Oh my god, this stadium is huge. There are a lot of people watching this.
Yep.
And, like, a lot of people watching this, like me,
Right.
what I'm doing right here.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus, the score, it's late in the set. Oh god,
I could win this. Oh no, I could win this for the team.
and I could lose this.
I could lose this
We're
as
up
well.
against, legends and aliens and, and all of that, right?
Right. And I liked how Kinoshita only saw the result. Meaning that Yamaguchi, a first year, someone younger than him,
Yep.
he saw the result of that. But Kinoshita had less nerves issues going into his serve than Yamaguchi did.
Yep.
And Yamaguchi just happened to basically have a little bit more practice, maybe specifically on the serves than you did. So that's why his worked so well.
Right.
So just keep at it, buddy. Keep at it.
Yep.
Next year, the third years are going to be gone. And that means there's going to be 2 slots opening up.
Like,
At the very least.
that's very true. That's
Yeah.
very true.
So,
and
better start training now so you're competitive for that position. Otherwise, you won't
Right.
play on Karasuno's team in any kind of starting position,
Yep.
which could just happen because then there'll be first years coming in on the next thing.
yeah, first years too.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
there's a very soft split. There's a very special place in my heart for any time that there's, underdogs in general, but also when someone starts to freak out, their nerves get to them, things like that, and someone comes in and basically helps them out, right? Snaps them out of it, out of their funk, gives them something to focus on, help them calm down. I love that kind of stuff. So the fact that we got that here, yes,
It's good stuff. All right. So the flow of the game leads towards Karasuno catching up as they basically take the initiative on a lot of things there. Inarizaki starts to react, but we have the coach from the summer training stuff for like the big, the
coach.
national
Right.
thing and stuff.
I think he was a coach for the national,
I can get
team
my,
for,
my
the Olympics or
notes
whatever.
on the old stuff here for that really quickly. But what we ended up seeing was that it was less about Inarizaki basically forcing Karasuno to try and catch up. It was Inarizaki having to catch up with Karasuno a little bit.
Yep.
And using a lot of the things that, they could to do that. But it's a bit freaky there in that regard. Yeah, so it's there's Fuki and Kotaro.
Right.
And I believe Fuki was the Olympic coach.
Yes.
Yeah, and
that's
him
the guy that
there
we
as
saw.
well.
Yeah.
So that was pretty legit. Okay, so we got the stuff from Inarizaki's side of things.
Yep.
With Kageyama, we got to see that this is the result of his growth, not only over the course of the training thing for the Olympic stuff, but also for just the course of the series, where he is letting go of the set after he's done his job.
Right. Being the Zen master in the control tower, it's impersonal, and he's just doing the best he can. And whatever happens, happens, because I am doing my part of supplying my team with what they need to succeed, and then they're bringing their A game, but I don't have to get involved in what they're doing. I just do my part.
Right, which is awesome. And that led to an amazing moment for Tsukkishima, where he ended up basically getting the opportunity to extend to his full height. In some ways, try harder than he usually does.
Sure. I can't imagine it's easy to jump that high when he's that big.
But even still, who's going to stop him up there? This lanky, tall giraffe of a monster is going to get up there, give a spike that's so vertical that the other team isn't even prepared to, receive it properly.
Yep,
They're too
much
far
less
back.
block it.
That was wonderful.
Yeah, and the idea of fly, that's something that's always used. Yes, for Karasuno as a team.
Yes,
but I feel like specifically for Hinata, right? Because he was the small one, and now he gets to fly, soar above the net and everything, and see what it's like up there.
Totally.
But the idea that Tsukkishima would be able to have that word used for him as well, I love, because he was the person who was constantly looking down, not just on others, but also on the idea of effort, so that it was the idea of flying was something that never would have occurred to him. right? That isn't that wouldn't exist.
I want Tsukishima's older brother to be here.
I know.
I want him to show up.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Like when no joke when the guy showed up for Yamaguchi, I literally was like having this moment of like, oh, I so badly want to have the same kind of thing happen, but for Tsukishima.
Yep, definitely. I loved the fact that Tsukkishima also got super excited about the idea of shutting down the equivalent of Kageyama and Hinata's quick by being like, oh, this is going to be fun.
Right.
And then eventually he does start to be able to read it and uses his read blocking properly, ends up, at the very least one-touching it, and leads to some good results, slowing the steamrolling effect of Inarizaki's offense. In the middle of the match, we start to see a little bit of a fraying of Inarizaki's kind of dynamic of their team and everything. And we see a little bit of the guys on the sidelines kind of casting a little bit of a awkward look in the way there. And we see like one of them kind of look towards the captain. And as you see a lot of them that have this kind of awkward look, you notice that two of the main tall guys are looking at number one, the captain, and the captain has kind of got this like, don't make me come out there. Don't make me step onto the court. And
it seems like it's something where he's very familiar with this whole brotherly bickering thing.
Yes.
And he's sort of got his arms folded like, all right, I'm pretty sure they've got this. Like this'll, I've seen this before. It'll resolve quickly.
Right, but
if it doesn't. But yeah, I'm watching.
I'm watching you. Yeah, because you can't let that spill out to the rest of the team, especially.
Yeah.
I also liked the twist of where Hinata's like, the most annoying blocker.
Yeah.
And then we thought it was going to be Tendo.
I thought for certain it was going to be Tendo.
We thought it was going to be Tendo because he then leads in on Tendo, which Tendo was one of the most annoying blockers. But actually, he ends up thinking of Issei from Abojosai, who was really good at forcing Hinata to do specific shots, specifically ones where it would be sent right to their libero or to their primary receiver on that side of the court, which is just a really cool way to be like, oh, Hinata doesn't need to actually touch the ball in order to be a good blocker. And then Nishinoya was so ready for it, he was just like, but it actually worked. Like, he was like, yeah, Hinata, way to go!
And I love that the term annoyed or annoyance was used because that's kind of what Hinata is.
Right.
When he's not doing his crazy quicks with Kageyama, he's the decoy. He's the annoying fly buzzing around that is very bright and colorful and easy to look at, right?
Yep.
But he doesn't directly cause a lot of trouble. Right, it's the
unless you let
indirect
him,
trouble. Right, unless you let him. When he gets the chance to, he definitely does.
Yep.
But most of the time, it's that other way of doing things. So when he was thinking of the ascending, tier list of amazing blockers, he didn't go for necessarily the best blocker. He went for the annoying blocker.
Right.
Yeah. Which really, I feel like fits his style in a better way than even like Tendo, because I thought Tendo's sort of zany way of an energetic way of doing things would go well for Hinata, but
in some ways Tendo's blocking was something that he was only able to do because guest blocking is something that involves a little bit of risk because your movement could just be based on
in the wrong direction.
False data, so you end up intuiting the wrong
thing.
We are getting to see also how strong Aran on the Inarizaki team is, and that not only is his serves and his spikes strong, he is a backbone member of their team when it comes to just getting stuff done.
Yep.
So there's been multiple times in the game thus far where he's basically stepped up and just brought things back to their side.
I feel like it's easy to forget in a place like Nationals and everything with a team like Inarizaki with the crazy twins and all of that stuff that, Aran is top 5 spikers. Like, that's a big deal. Like, that's Bokuto, level, spiking.
Right.
That's crazy.
Exactly. Yep.
Like, that's actually kind of crazy.
And they said that when he's on his A game, he can be even better than the other 4. Even though he's number 5 in the top 5. Which I believe it. He is huge. He is a huge guy.
Yep.
although, Yamaguchi pulled a fast one on him with his serve. That was pretty sweet.
Oh, yeah.
Favorite moment, though, this episode, I gotta say, this is one that it's gonna make me, like, die of joy in, like, a sickeningly funny way, is when Asahi dinks and Tsukkishima does his like, it's the most, like... like awkward, just like bird sound, where it's just like
it totally makes sense though because like apparently Tsukkishima used to do that a lot in the past. I totally forgot about that.
He would dink a bunch in the first season or two before he ended up getting serious in the training arc in season 2.
But like it's also something where just with his personality, because a dink is kind of like a troll thing, right? It's like, okay, hey, I'm gonna do this really dumb, just sort of like tap, tap, because
it makes the other team look stupid.
It makes the other team look stupid, right? Yeah. And in this situation, you've got these massive dudes that are like, we're gonna block this, and
he's their ace. He's strong. He looks like a freaking samurai, dude.
Yep. And Asahi is constantly been the one of, can I break through the iron walls of Dateko?
Yeah.
Is this going to No, he just.
And it almost looked like he wasn't fully serious about it. So like when he went up to do it, you see him going like, like I'm not sure this is gonna work. And it worked super well. And the fact that Tsukkishima laughed while his hands were kind of crossed, down like that, it made me think that he was basically like, Asahi, the ace, is copying me.
Right.
Like,
it was, I loved it.
That's just one of my favorite parts, because Suki is one of my favorite characters, but also just to see him have his expressive self shown.
Right, it doesn't happen
still
often.
Just super awkward, like awkward as hell.
The faces were amazing this episode. Like, there were so many where I was just like, oh, that is a face I don't think I've ever seen before. Like, there were a couple from Hinata, and then
Hinata was the Haikyuu derp faces.
Yeah, the Haikyuu derp faces are always incredible,
on full
right?
Point.
Like, and they were full steam, this episode. So I really definitely appreciated that. But my personal favorite moment this episode, though, is definitely Yamaguchi. Tadashi. Like,
Tadashi.
and holding up the bag. Hey, remember,
focus on this.
Just focus on this.
Remember
it's
what
fine.
We did.
Yeah. Like you've put in all the hours of practice. You got it.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Although, what's her name? Getting pissed when the people were bad mouthing Tanaka. That was pretty good too.
Yeah. Her just kind of just general commentary surrounding the whole thing was really fun, but also just the fact that she totally does like him, so she's already very
being all protective and stuff.
Yes, it's nice. Yeah, because Tanaka is very much he's huffing his own hype a couple of times, but it is nice to have every once in a while someone encouraging him from the sidelines, even if he doesn't know who it is exactly.
Exactly.
Just hearing that cheering and stuff.
And I'm really glad that that Psycho told the Karasuno cheer squad, don't sigh. No sighing.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, loving all the little character moments, loving all the little bits and funny things and stuff like that, the little awkward little stares and stuff. This was really fun. I gotta say, the one final thing I'll say, there was a nice little bit of foreshadowing, I think that's really good, is we saw Daichi feeling it on the serving receives already, where he's all like, damn, like these guys serve really hard. Like basically he was saying like the power that they're giving in the serves there is already starting to physically like affect him.
Wow.
So what that means potentially is that we are going to have a serious stamina game if this goes, without too many switches potentially in later rounds. So I would love to see, personally, I'm just going to make a prediction here, that one of the main 6 outside of, I would say, Hinata specifically, the ones, well, no, not Kageyama either, but basically one of the ones that is in the receiving side of things, like the Tanaka, the Nishinoya, the Daichis, basically has to get rotated out.
Sure.
Because they're just too tired.
Yeah.
And Inoshida, it's going to be your moment. Like,
sure.
if there's anyone that makes the most sense to get swapped out in that regard, other than Sugawara, it's Inoshida.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I loved also Inoshida's reading analysis of what their faces were like when it was Tsukkishima and Kageyama kind of exchanging things. He's like, that is Tsukishima's, that was pretty decent, but I hate to admit it kind of look.
Right,
and then
exactly.
Kageyama's, well, he's glaring at me, so I'll glare back kind of look.
Yeah.
And then Kinoshida's like, wow, how can you tell from this far away?
That moment was another great moment, just with the idea of like those two, because they're so similar that they just can't get along, right? Like they're different, but they're similar enough that it's like two magnets of the same polarity. It just doesn't work.
That is true. I think that Hinata is more directly opposite in that regard with the polarity thing, but it is also the fact that Tsukishima has kind of intentionally pushed himself away from liking Kageyama ever since the beginning of the show.
That is true.
To where Kageyama isn't doing anything to make Tsukishima not like him. Yeah. It's just that Tsukishima is so probably annoyed with how freaking talented Kageyama is, and yet he doesn't see necessarily all the work and all the effort that Kageyama has put into it.
Right.
So Kageyama's like this walking demigod amongst humans. Like if there are any aliens or gods in, like not just the show, but like Karasuno specifically, Kageyama is a clear head above everyone else.
And this runner-up would probably be Nishinoya.
But that's the thing.
But that's like
Nishinoya also fits in a little bit more realistically amongst a bunch of the other players in their specific fields.
Right.
But Kageyama just has this like
what?
Yeah.
Art thou human?
Yeah. And yet now he's also no longer flexing his ego in that regard.
No, I wasn't trying to be tough or anything. No, I'm just being my regular self.
Yeah.
And the fact that it was so glaringly obvious, like as a difference to Atsumu, where he's like, What happened to
Kageyama?
Yeah, like
or Tobio-kun, as he would call him, because he's super familiar already. But even Coach Ukai was like, "Yo, he was right. He's just doing things as normal."
Our boys have grown up so much. Like
it's
that,
so good.
That personal growth that we see from them, that just sort of oozes out all the time, even if it's not often in like hyper spotlight focus for a character in particular.
Yeah.
But the fact that we get that's what makes these volleyball matches mean so much, because it's not just about the volleyball. It's about these boys and the fact that they're passionate about it and that they're doing it and that it's working and that their hard work is paying off.
Yeah.
And we get to see that.
Yeah. So all the stuff that came before means something in every single match, and we get to see those things play out. And now we even get to see them having like their names for the specific moves. Where Lost in the Crowd was there, and then and then they're like, "Oh, should we be focusing on Hinata?" And like, nope. Kageyama decides what tempo he wants to do this at. Right. He gets like 4 options or 5 options.
I love it.
Awesome stuff.
This show's amazing.
But y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. We don't have an early access because we're doing these week to week with all y'all. But if you want to check full-length timer versions of these reactions, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. Any level of support gets you access to our Discord, where you can chat with us and the community there about this show, about anime in general, and you can also talk with Jacob about the sci-fi novel that he wrote.
That's right. If you want to see a bunch of young people also working together as a team. I wrote a sci-fi novel called Battle Lines that kind of focuses on that.
6 of them.
Yeah, and 6 with, the sort of 7th kind of.
Yeah, that's true.
Battle Lines. It's on Amazon. If you haven't checked it out yet, I highly recommend it. It's pretty cool. I am biased, but, link in the description.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.